Breaking developments now coming in that at 4:30 p.m. the EC will announce the poll dates. The Election Commission will announce the election dates.
Date of counting, 2nd May. Date of counting is same for all the elections.
Very interesting times over there because the battleground shifts to Jammu.
They essentially feel that this is one battle that they have to win.
Well, 2021 also looks more like DMK versus AIADMK.
There is a real chance for a second consecutive term for a left government.
We are quite confident that we will win more than 200 seats, and this is the last of TMC and Mamata Banerjee as far as state of West Bengal is concerned.
सबने प्रण लिया कि अगर रथ रोकोगे तो हम स्कूटी पे उतरेंगे, स्कूटी रोकोगे तो पैदल निकलेंगे, लेकिन पश्चिम बंगाल अब बदलाव के पथ पर निकल चुका है। पश्चिम बंगाल अब परिवर्तन के पथ पर निकल चुका है।
Canvas on which the BJP is playing. There are multiple issues that they are trying to project in these elections. What do you think will decide battle for Bengal now?
They need to be able to do well in Assam, Bengal and consolidate positions as far as Tamil Nadu and Kerala is concerned.
The magic wall debuting this election season. This is, of course, the one instrument that you have where you get the micro bit.
Hello everyone. The election dates are out and the stage is set for decisive battles in 5 battlegrounds. But the states to watch out for are Bengal and Tamil Nadu. These are all culminating in Super Sunday on May 2nd. Polling will take place in 8 phases in West Bengal starting 27th of March, where after 10 years at the helm, Mamata Banerjee faces her biggest challenge from the saffron juggernaut led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, amidst rebellions from her top generals who have jumped the ship. She is a formidable mass leader that cannot be denied as well, and a tough regional satrap who can deter the BJP's eastern advance. But the BJP has unleashed the full power of its election machinery to topple her government. Politics has already started with Mamata questioning the 8 phases, accusing the Election Commission of announcing the dates on the BJP's directions. Down south, Tamil Nadu is the critical battlefield which will go to polls in a single phase on April 6th, wherein the post-Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha era, the EPS-led AIADMK is an unstable ship. With the return of Sasikala, the BJP is trying its best to broker peace between the 2 big factions to take on a resurgent DMK that has rallied behind MK Stalin. The Congress is hoping to have a respectable seat-sharing formula with them, though they have been offered just 18 seats this time around, half of the number of seats they contested in 2016, which was 41. So what really are the X factors in Bengal and Tamil Nadu? Who holds the key to power? Before I bring in my guests, let me go straight to our big newsmaker joining me now, Dilip Ghosh, Bengal BJP Chief. Dilip जी, बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए। ममता बनर्जी का आप पर आरोप है कि बंगाल चुनाव इतना लंबा 8 फेज का इसलिए किया गया है क्योंकि इलेक्शन कमीशन भाजपा को फेवर कर रही है, क्योंकि देखा जाए तो केरला और तमिलनाडु में 1 फेज में चुनाव हो रहा है और तमिलनाडु में जबकि 234 सीटें हैं।
न देखिए, आसाम में भी तो छोटा हो रहा है, क्यों बंगाल में? उन्होंने जब 2011 में जीता उसमें 6 फेज में हुआ था, पिछले बार भी वही था 16 में, तो ये तो चले आ रहा है। क्यों बंगाल का चुनाव हिंसात्मक होता है, हिंसा होती है, उत्तेजना होता है, इसलिए वहाँ सेंट्रल फोर्स चाहिए। बिना सेंट्रल फोर्स का वहाँ किसी बूथ में भी चुनाव नहीं होता है, क्योंकि प्रशासन और पुलिस को वहाँ लोग विश्वास नहीं करते हैं। पिछले चुनाव में, लोकसभा चुनाव, पूरा देश में शांतिपूर्वक चुनाव हुआ। बंगाल में 42 के 42 सीट में हिंसा हुआ, मर्डर हुआ, लोगों ने रोड जाम किया, ताला मार दिया बूथ में, क्योंकि सफिशिएंट था नहीं सेंट्रल फोर्स। लोगों का वही डिमांड है, हमने वही डिमांड किया है और चुनाव कमीशन भी
सेंट्रल एजेंसीज
जा रही है।
मिसयूज करने का आप पर आरोप है। पहले आपने सीबीआई और ईडी को इस्तेमाल किया टीएमसी के नेताओं को धमकाने के लिए। अब ममता बनर्जी बोलती हैं कि आपने इलेक्शन कमीशन का पूरा जो उन्होंने डेट्स अनाउंस किया है वो भाजपा को एडवांटेज देने के लिए।
नहीं, उन्होंने भी तो जब विपक्ष में थी यही डिमांड करती थी जो आज हम कर रहे हैं। और एजेंसी क्या है, जब वो विपक्ष में थी तो कोई गाड़ी एक्सीडेंट हो जाए, किसी को थप्पड़ मार दे तो सीबीआई इंक्वायरी मांगती थी। आज क्यों सीबीआई से डर रही है? और उनके जो सीआईडी है, उनके जो पुलिस है, मेरे ऊपर 40-40 केसेस है, मैं किसी को थप्पड़ तक नहीं मारा। और उनके जो नेता, उनका पार्टी छोड़ के उनके ऊपर केसेस चल रहे हैं। अर्जुन सिंह के ऊपर 96 केसेस हैं। ये क्या है? एजेंसी को कौन यूज करता है? आप करेंगे जो उल्टा बोलेंगे उसका। हर बात में आप सीबीआई इंक्वायरी चाहती थी, सेंट्रल फोर्स चाहती थी, आज हम भी वही डिमांड करते। आप क्यों डरती है? मतलब जनता से वो दूर हो गई है, जनता से डरती है। पिछले 1.5 साल से चुनाव, नगर पालिका चुनाव लंबी थे, 118 कॉर्पोरेशन म्यूनिसिपैलिटी मिला के, क्यों नहीं चुनाव करती है? वो डरती है कि हार जाएगी। एक स्कूल कमेटी का, एक क्लब का, एक कोऑपरेटिव का भी चुनाव नहीं होता है यहाँ। लोकतंत्र गायब है। आप तो लोकतंत्र प्रतिष्ठा करना चाहते हैं, शांतिपूर्वक चुनाव चाहते हैं, इसीलिए हम डिमांड किया। बाकी पार्टी भी यही डिमांड की है।
दिलीप जी, एक तरफ है बंगाल की बेटी, उन्होंने अपना स्लोगन बना दिया कि बंगाल को अपनी बेटी चाहिए, और आपकी तरफ कौन है?
नहीं, अभी तक दीदी थी, फिर माँ किचन बना तो माँ बन गई, किसी का फूफा है। हम तो किसी व्यक्ति के अंदर राजनीति नहीं करते, उनके पास एक ही चेहरा है। यहाँ कहावत है, एक पोस्ट बाकी सब लैंप पोस्ट। लैंप पोस्ट भी गायब है, वो तो टूट गए, सब हमारे साथ आ गए हैं। हमारे पार्टी जहाँ चुनाव जीतती है उसके बाद नेता तय करती है। इसके पहले उत्तर प्रदेश हुआ, झारखंड हुआ, बिहार, कहीं भी हुआ, हम लोग पहले डिक्लेयर नहीं करते। हमारे व्यक्ति आधारित पार्टी नहीं है, विचार और कार्य पद्धति आधारित है। उनके पास तो व्यक्ति ही है और कुछ नहीं है उनके सामने, इसलिए लोग उनको छोड़कर भाग रहे हैं। तानाशाह चलता है वहाँ।
और कितने नेता
चुनाव में बोलती है आदमी क्या, ममता और बांग्ला, इसको छोड़कर कुछ नहीं उनके पास।
तो और कितने टीएमसी के नेता आपके संपर्क में हैं? अब तो मॉडल कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट लग गया। आपने मुझे पिछली बार बोला था कि मॉडल कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट लगने दीजिए, फिर देखिएगा कितने लोगों का यहाँ पर भर्ती शुरू होगी। अब मुझे ये बता दीजिए कितने लोग और आपके साथ आने वाले हैं?
नहीं, कितने तो इसका कोई अंत नहीं है ना, चलेगा। अब चुनाव संहिता नहीं लगा, फिर भी नीचे के स्तर में बूथ के, मंडल स्तर के कार्यकर्ता लगातार ज्वाइनिंग करते हैं। अभी हमारे 5 यात्रा चल रहा है, सब जगह ज्वाइनिंग हो रहा है। अब बड़े नेता जो राह देख रहे थे, सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम है उनके लिए, हिंसा होती है, डरते हैं, अब शुरू हो जाएगा। अब देखिए, हर रोज इसका रिजल्ट आपको मिलेगा।
आखिरी सवाल आपसे, भाजपा ये चुनाव किस मुद्दे पे लड़ रही है? क्या बहुत सारे मुद्दे हैं? क्योंकि जब हम कैनवस देखते हैं तो नेशनलिज्म का भी इशू है, ममता के आप लोग जो बोलते हैं मिस गवर्नेंस का भी इशू है, ये सुभाष चंद्र बोस भी इशू है। किस मुद्दे पर आप चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं?
देखिए, ये जो सरकार है वो विफल हो चुकी है, इसलिए इशू तो बहुत सारा है। लेकिन बंगाल में पिछले लगभग 45 साल से लोकतंत्र गायब है। वोटिंग नहीं होती है, नॉमिनेशन भी नहीं होता है, प्रचार करने नहीं देते हैं। लोकतंत्र स्थापित करना एक पहला इशू हमारे लिए है। यहाँ की शिक्षा व्यवस्था टूट चुकी है, राजनीति का अखाड़ा बन चुका है इंस्टीट्यूशन। यहाँ भ्रष्टाचार चरम पर है, यहाँ कानून व्यवस्था एकदम टूट चुकी है। ये सारी बातें आएगी, लोगों को चुभ रहा है हर बात, लोग मुक्ति चाहते हैं, ये सब बात आएगी। इसलिए इसको हटा करके बंगाल को पुराने उसके गरिमा के साथ प्रतिष्ठित करने के लिए हमने सोनार बांग्ला का स्लोगन दिया है, इसलिए हम सोनार बांग्ला बनाना चाहते हैं।
All right, Dilip Ghosh, thank you so much for joining us on this day when the election dates have been announced. Of course, the counting is on 2nd of May. Let me bring in my guests. Sanjay Kumar, Director of CSDS, Radhika Ramaseshan, columnist, Sumansi Daman, political analyst, Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist. Sanjay Kumar, in Bengal, the TMC and the BJP are equally poised, the challenger and the defender here. We say this about every election, that they will have huge national ramifications, that, you know, every election has huge national ramifications. So let me ask this question a little differently now. What do these two battles, one in Bengal and another in Tamil Nadu, mean for the national politics?
See, let me first talk about West Bengal. If BJP manages to form government, if Trinamool Congress loses this election, this will be a blow for the regional party. Trinamool Congress is one of those regional party which is putting up a strong contest, putting up a strong challenge for BJP. So BJP will make huge inroads in the east. They have already formed a government in Assam. In all likelihood, I think they are likely to form the second government in Assam. This seems to be to be very strong in Assam. So it would mean weakening of regional parties. Congress is not in a position to put up a strong challenge against BJP. So the dominance of BJP expands further if BJP manages to form the government in West Bengal. In Tamil Nadu, BJP will not be able to make its presence felt the way it has been able to make its presence felt in many other states. But for Tamil Nadu, it is about the legacy of Jayalalitha, because this is the election where the two stalwarts are not, none of the two stalwarts are contesting or present in the election scene. So, DMK is in a position for revival. DMK seems to be very strong. I think the big issue is how many seats Congress manages to get in when it forms the alliance. If Congress agrees to contest smaller number of seats, you had already indicated that DMK is willing to give only 18 seats. Further marginalization, further marginalization of the Congress. It has been marginalized in many other states, so it would mean further marginalization for the Congress.
Okay. I'll talk about Tamil Nadu with Sumansi Raman. Before that, let me bring Radhika and Shikha. Radhika, in Bengal, BJP is testing its own achievements. It has its footprints now all over the country. I remember the first national executive of the BJP, which was held after winning Uttar Pradesh, was in Bhubaneswar in Odisha. The message was that they are looking towards east. They made their presence felt in a big way in 2019. What does Bengal mean in assembly elections, Radhika? Because Bengal is special as it is also an ideological project for the BJP.
Absolutely. Bengal is an ideological project, primarily, I would say. And, the BJP has governments in Assam. Let's not forget, they acquired a government, they won a government in Tripura after a spectacular victory. They're ruling in various northeastern states, but I think they expect the big breakthrough in Bengal, following which they think Odisha becomes a little easier for them. So therefore, Bengal is very, very crucial from various points of view. I mean, if you look at the national scenario, by the time 2024 arrives, the BJP has peaked in North India. It has kind of peaked in parts of Western India as well. So, from that position of absolute hegemony, you have to come down a little because you're defending your incumbent governments in various places. So, therefore, I think the East now becomes an important pocket to compensate for whatever losses the BJP might suffer in North and West.
So, these are newer terrains.
Dimensions to winning Bengal for the BJP. But let me reiterate, the primary reason would be definitely ideological, and because they're not only ousting Mamta in the bargain, if at all they win, but you're also sort of putting the left down completely. The left and the BJP have been engaged in an ideological battle for God knows when. Almost every political resolution that the national executive of the BJP passes will have an allusion to the left.
Yes.
And, various manifestations of the left, not to speak of the Maoists, the Tukre gang,
that exactly
the anti-CA protesters,
means
etc.
that this Bengal election is far bigger and culturally significant for the BJP. Shikha, but Bengal is also culturally ultra-sensitive, where culture and linguistic identities play a very important role. So, are you seeing this battle for Bengal also about nationalism of BJP versus sub-nationalism of TMC and Mamata Banerjee?
Well, the sub-nationalism of the Bengali as Mamata Banerjee is representing it, and the BJP's nationalism, which is of an entirely different kind. Please don't, every Bengali, I think, may.
Okay, we'll try and connect with Shikha in just a bit. Sumansi Raman, in Tamil Nadu, I'm shifting focus now to Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, the cult politics era is over. It's Stalin versus EPS OPS. Will it be the beginning of the end of Dravidian dominance in Tamil Nadu and perhaps beginning of a new playfield now with UPA versus NDA, though the Congress and the BJP are certainly, both of them are marginal players in these alliances?
Yeah, I think, first of all, this is the first election that I can remember in ages where people are actually starting to look at the political parties, the manifestos, what they are offering, what they have done while in governance and so on. Earlier on, you just, you voted for one leader. You just blindly voted. You either voted for the two leaves or you voted for the rising sun, and that was that, because you admired MGR or Jayalalitha or Mr. Karunanidhi, as it were. That was the end of the story. This is the first election that people are actually starting to, and that's because obviously the legends are no longer around, and the leaders who are contesting this election, both Mr. Stalin and EPS, are both seen as mere mortals. They don't have the demigod status that the earlier leaders had. In that sense, this election is different. BJP and Congress are, let's be very clear, marginal players, and as far as the Congress is concerned, this is a no-win situation for them, because they've sort of virtually become a kind of a big player in the state. Their vote share, at one point, they were the ruling party in Tamil Nadu for many, many years, and then they still commanded, up to the 90s, they commanded 20% vote share. Now that vote share is down to 5%. Last time the DMK gave them 41 seats, they won only 8, and the general talk was that because DMK was so generous with the Congress, they couldn't form the government. So this time, the DMK is going to squeeze the Congress out, probably 20, 22 seats, maybe a max of 25. And what happens to the Congress after that? They become even more marginalized. If the DMK wins the election, then they're just sitting around in the assembly with 10 MLAs. And for the BJP, though, this is a very crucial election. They've pulled out all stops in the last 1.5 years. The Prime Minister has been visiting so frequently. Mr. Amit Shah has been coming. Mr. Nadu has been coming. So they've been throwing a whole lot of effort and energy on Tamil Nadu. They have a state president who is a Dalit leader, which the fact that they have been proclaiming from the rooftop, saying that, the Dravidian parties talk so much about, caste equity, and see what they have done. They've never had a Dalit at the top, and we have given a Dalit leader the top job in the state. So they are making a very concerted effort this time. And while their vote share will go up, they haven't really, managed to establish themselves as a major force yet. And there is the anti-BJP sentiment or the anti-Hindutva sentiment.
Okay.
The minority vote in this election will solidly go towards the DMK combined, and that could give them a little bit of an edge, though EPS is pulling back very strongly with a series of stops in the last few days, and his personality is making this a very tight contest.
Okay. Sanjay Kumar, what is one thing that you'll be watching out for as the election progresses in Tamil Nadu and in Bengal?
In Bengal, as I said, one has to watch the way BJP campaigns. In which direction the campaign shifts, because BJP would be attacking the government and Trinamool would need to defend the performance, the way they have they have run the government. So I think the one thing I would be watching in Bengal would be which way is the campaign shifting, and it is more important because Bengal goes to poll in 8 phases.
Yes.
Phase after phase, we have seen this happening in some other states, that elections do change between different phases. So I think that's an important thing to watch in West Bengal. In Tamil Nadu, I think it is more important to watch the politics within the AIDMK, whether the warring factions within the AIDMK actually gel together, or overall from outside it looks that they are gelling together, but within the party there is something else going on. Secondly, I think it would also be important to look at the relationship which would emerge with regard to the DMK and the Congress, how this relationship is going to progress as the campaign progresses. I think these are the two things I would be watching.
Okay, Shikha, you wanted to make a point about subnationalism versus nationalism of the BJP. Go ahead.
Well, I think that if I need to go through the whole thing, let me just say briefly. I think what is what is going to be the point of confrontation is who actually owns the idea of the nation and who can interpret the idea of the nation, because Bengal obviously feels, given its long history, that the idea of the nation and nationalism itself was birthed in this place. And the BJP is therefore putting forward a different version of the nation, which the Trinamool is challenging. In addition, I think this election is going to be very, very interesting because Mamata Banerjee, as a regional party, has declared yesterday that she thinks it will be an early midterm report on the performance of the Modi government. And she has made it very clear that the issues like petrol and diesel price hikes, kerosene and LPG gas, the farmers' movement, the idea of one nation, one election, one party, one election, etc., such as things that she is challenging. And I think that this is going to be one of those moments when a regional party is raising issues of also federalism and what it means within the structure, because there is a centralizing tendency within the BJP, and Mamata Banerjee and other states, including Tamil Nadu, DMK in particular, have been and Kerala, 3 states where the elections have been held.
30 seconds is all I have for you.
Important point.
Last point.
The final words.
Yeah, sorry. In Tamil Nadu, I think Shashikala and Dinakaran would definitely be an X factor, which way she veers towards, what is the kind of base she will have, because let's not forget that imagery that still holds. I mean, at Jayalalitha's cremation, when there was that resolute Shashikala who looked as though she is going to sort of inherit Jayalalitha's, Chinnamma is going to inherit Jayalalitha's legacy. So definitely I would watch out for Shashikala and Dinakaran, which way they would go. And as far as Bengal is concerned, yes, it is an interplay of nationalism versus regionalism, but there are indications this time that Bengal might go national, quote unquote, in large parts of the BJP way. It has kind of Bengal more than Tamil Nadu has.
All right, Radhika, thank you so much for joining us. Suman, Sriraman, Shikha and Sanjay Kumar. That's all from me. The elections have been announced and the D-Day, of course, is the counting day, the Super Sunday on 2nd of May. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.